Welcome back to Amber Radio. Find your most comfortable position, let your shoulders drop, and allow your breathing to gently match the steady, timeless rhythm of tonight's journey. Amber is leading you away from the misty pine ridges of North Carolina, drifting further into the quiet cradle of the past. Right now, we are sitting inside a warm, dark-timbered carriage of the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway, winding through the amber and crimson forests of Virginia on a crisp morning in 1934. Look out the arched window. The world outside is draped in a thick, silver fog, softening the edges of the ancient maple trees as they shed their leaves. The steady of the massive steam engine acts as a perpetual lullaby, washing away the noise of the modern world. The train is decelerating now, its iron brakes letting out a soft, warm hiss, signaling our arrival at the historic red brick station of Williamsburg. Stepping onto the dew-kissed brick platform, the sharp, clean autumn air of Virginia gently brushes against your skin. In 1934, this historic colonial capital has just completed the first phase of its grand restoration, funded by the Rockefeller family. To preserve the sacred stillness of the 18th century, modern automobiles are strictly banned from the historic center. Amber guides you toward a waiting horse-drawn carriage, an open-top wooden buggy driven by a coachman in a classic tweed vest. Amber tucks a thick, woven wool blanket over your lap, trapping the comforting warmth. The carriage begins to move, unhurriedly carrying us down the main thoroughfare, Duke of Gloucester Street. Listen to the hooves trotting against the earth and river stones, slow, deliberate, steady. On either side, red brick Georgian homes stand in silent dignity under giant oaks. The carriage comes to a gentle halt outside a historic tavern, where a thin curl of gray smoke drifts from the brick chimney, carrying the rich aroma of a rustic breakfast. Before you sits a plate of thick-cut Virginia country ham, pan-searched until the edges are beautifully crisped and golden, offering a deep, savory, time-honored saltiness. Alongside it are warm Johnny cakes, flat cornmeal griddle cakes, crispy on the outside, but tender and steaming within. Sip a cup of hot Earl Grey tea, feeling the warmth spread from your hands to the very core of your body. As midday arrives, the autumn fog dissolves into long streaks of golden sunlight, streaming through the small grid windows of the famous Raleigh Tavern where founding fathers once gathered. The air inside is thick with the scent of aged pine floors rubbed with beeswax, and the comforting aroma of slow-cooked hearth meals. Our rustic lunch is served on a heavy, raw wood table. First comes the fried green tomatoes, a true southern comfort born from the resourcefulness of late autumn. Thick slices of tart, firm green tomatoes are dipped in buttermilk, dredged in coarse cornmeal, and fried in a cast-iron skillet. Listen to the gentle crunch of the golden crust, giving way to a warm, juicy, tangy center. Next to it sits a fresh crock of spoonbread. This isn't ordinary bread. It is an incredibly smooth, moisture-rich corn pudding. As Amber scoops a spoonful with a silver utensil, the steam rises, revealing a cloud-like texture. A pat of salted butter is dropped right in the center, slowly melting into a golden pool that seeps deep into the sweet cornmeal. The rich butter, the sweet corn, and the sharp tang of the tomatoes wrap you in a blanket of pure contentment. The afternoon in Williamsburg, 1934, moves at a snail's pace. Amber holds your hand as we stroll along the weathered brick sidewalks. From the edge of the street, the steady, rhythmic striking of the hammer from the James Anderson blacksmith shop drifts through the air. It is not loud, but rather a soothing, hypnotic heartbeat of the old town. Through the shop window, the warm orange glow of the coal fire spills onto the street as twilight begins to fall. We sit down on a solid oak bench beneath a massive maple tree, watching the last red leaves drift silently to the ground. Amber pulls a rustic, hearth-baked loaf of rye bread from her bag, breaking it open to reveal a dense, fragrant crumb. She pops open a small glass jar, instantly releasing the sweet, spiced aroma of cinnamon, cloves, and molasses. This is traditional apple butter, a beloved countryside preserve slow-simmered in a copper kettle for over 12 hours until it turns into a thick, dark, amber paste. Amber smooths it over the warm rye bread. The deep, caramelized sweetness of the apples and the warming spice of cloves linger on your tongue, soothing your senses against the cooling evening air. Nightfall completely claims the town, enveloping the geometric gardens of the governor's palace in an absolute, velvety silence. In 1934, the night here is untouched by modern glare. The entire town is illuminated only by candlelit lanterns hanging from porches, casting long, soft shadows across the historic brick facades. We retreat to a cozy attic room in an old guest house nearby. Inside, A small fire crackles lazily in the stone hearth. On a bed of glowing coals, a pot of Brunswick stew bubbles slowly. This humble countryside stew made of shredded chicken, sweet corn, and tomatoes simmered together for a whole day is incredibly thick, rich with natural sweetness, and deeply infused with the smoky essence of oak wood. You take a warm, comforting spoonful, feeling the heat settle into your chest, keeping the autumn chill outside. The slow bubble of the stew and the whispering wind outside create a sanctuary of absolute safety. Now let yourself sink deeper into the plush feather pillows, pulling the warm wool blanket up to your chest. Amber will blow out the very last candle in the room, leaving only the soft, crimson glow of the dying embers to watch over your sleep. The ancient town of Williamsburg has surrendered to the night, cradled in fog and memories. Our journey with Amber Radio in Virginia 1934 comes to a peaceful close. But when you wake up in another time, Amber will be holding your hand once more, leaving this candlelit colonial haven behind. We will ride further north, chasing the low-hanging sea mist, the gentle lapping of the tides against wooden piers, and the savory, salt-air magic of the historic coast of Maryland. But for now, let the autumn wind, the fading embers, and the profound stillness of Williamsburg carry you into a deep, beautiful sleep. Good night, my sweet traveler.